fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a massive show coming your way tonight. 5 more sleeps. That's all there is until Corio Bay will be free from commercial net fishing forever. Something many people said would never happen. Something that many recreational anglers have dreamt of for decades. Something that becomes reality this Sunday, the 1st of April 2018. I can just hear Geoff Wilson singing a celebratory song as if Geelong has just won the grand final. Also tonight, a special guest in the studio for some big announcements to make fishing better. We take a look at why there are so many choices in sunglass lenses, all that and plenty more. So let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. A massive, massive show, and I'd just like to say that Trelly definitely missed the memo on what colour shirt we were wearing tonight. It's Blue Shirt Tuesdays and Trelly's rocked up in a grey one.
Yes, it's always a big welcome to the man who wears a different coloured shirt, all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelford. Welcome, Trelly.
Thank you very much, Dave. And yeah, I didn't check my wardrobe. You know, you guys like, oh, what'd you do with your hair this time, you know?
Or you could say that Adam and I didn't exchange notes on wardrobe and wore the same colour shirt tonight. But anyway, it's all good. And a special guest in the studio tonight, joining us here on Talking Fishing, from down the Geelong Freeway all the way down to the beautiful Bellarine Peninsula. You may recognise our guest as the Minister for Police, but tonight we're joined by the Honourable Lisa Neville as Minister for Water. Welcome to the program, Lisa.
Evening, David. Great to be with you all. So I went blue as well.
Yeah.
Darker blue than you, but I got the memo.
Now, let's get the official stuff out the way. I've got one for you. There you go, Minister for Water. You get that.
Is it Melbourne water?
It is Melbourne. In fact, I'm not sure.
Actually, no, don't check it.
It could be that. It could be that. How was the Australian Open tennis? They had imported water. Yeah. That was tough. But anyway.
So can I ask why you're all getting the beers there and I've got the water?
We've got a budget of 3 stubbies. and they're empty,
so you splurged tonight. Is that what you're saying?
You get a real drink, we get nothing. But anyway, now let's get back to local. You're the member for Bellarine, which encompasses what area?
So it starts from the outskirts of Geelong, so just at the edge of Newcombe, so people will know near where Alcoa used to be, Point Henry Road, right out to include Bowen Heads, Leopold, Port Arlington, St Leonards, Queenscliff, beautiful place to fish and go boating, so an incredible part of the world. Yeah.
The other thing, and we're going to talk about it plenty tonight, is that you also are, in your electorate, is the hub really of aquaculture in Victoria, isn't it?
Oh, look, you know, it is amazing. So I've got, and we will talk about it, but the mussel industry particularly, and we've got the Marine Research Centre down there as well.
Which actually does more than just a research. I mean, they actually produce the I don't know what, the spat, I guess
it is a spat. It's called the spat. And they pretty much saved the mussel industry for Victoria. And you go down, you just walk down the Port Arlington Pier and you can pick up a box of fresh mussels. Incredible.
Beautiful. Now, one of the things we've done, and we often do it with ministers on the show, not that we have ministers on every, so often, but we do actually send a camera into your kitchen. And we have a look at your to-do list on your fridge.
It was the day that I think it was the day I had cleaned.
And we've got a list here. This is Lisa's to-do list. Save Lake Tolondo. I better read it off here because it's too far away. Save Lake Tolondo. Better fishing facilities at Clifton Springs. These are all ticks, by the way. Not well publicised on our show. Environmental flows for better fisheries in the Goulburn, Loddon, Campaspe and Glenelg rivers. New fishing and boating facilities at Port Arlington. New fishing and remove restrictions at Blue Rock Lake. Now we did cover that a little bit, but we've got some exciting news about that tonight. ban commercial net fishing in Corio Bay, reopen fishing at Dartmouth Pond. So that's a fair list on your fridge.
Nearly there. Hopefully that, we get to a few more green ticks on that pretty quickly, actually.
Lake
Tolondo, that was a great start, wasn't it? That was the number one start for
That
everyone.
was the start.
Yeah.
And we should, I'm getting yelled at to go to Catch of the Week, but we should just say that what you did that day, you may not realise, although being the Minister for Water, you probably do, you actually saved Lake Tolondo. Now, rain has come since. It's it's at a good level. If it hadn't have got that 10,000 meg that day, the fish wouldn't have survived. They wouldn't have survived a summer, and that fishery would be 5 or 6 years behind now. So that little bit of water saved everything.
People said you couldn't do it, and then then we all worked together as well for a long-term plan. And sometimes there is drought, but we have used the opportunity of rain to make sure it's got a long-term future.
Absolutely. Folks, it's time, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Some absolutely fantastic fish and tough conditions again for fishing in the whole week.
The wind.
Snow on Mount Bauble.
Yeah, I saw that. That was insane.
Snow this week, cold nights are here. But anyway, we're going into a good time of year, and we just wanted to promote a couple of places and some good catches. Have a look at the first one. This is a gummy shark off Rye, Brett Munger. That's every bit of 15, 16, 17 kilos.
That's a good fish, that's what that is.
And we have a full moon coming up.
Yeah.
The prime time.
Yeah, so I'd be taking note of these going into the Easter weekend. The weather's looking pretty good, winds are going to calm down, and the full moon, as you mentioned, is perfect for the gummies.
Full moon on Saturday. Always a full moon at Easter.
That's right.
That's the way it goes. Another species that is very, very good on the full moon is the mulloway, and we don't see too many come out of the Yarra River, but this one, Mithat Bayak, I think I've got that right. Charlie, do you reckon that's right?
Yeah, good enough.
Yep. A beautiful one near Webb Dock, just down the road from Webb Dock. So,
and I did ask this question before. You can eat out of the Yarra River.
And Adam said,
you can't even drink the water.
You said the bigger, the better.
Yeah, because mulloway are one of those rare fish. The bigger they get in size, the better they eat. They call the small ones soapies because they taste a little bit like soap.
Yeah, there you go. So that would be an absolutely beautiful fish.
Definitely.
There you go. Blue Rock Lake. We travelled down there probably. Was it 3 years ago?
I don't think it's quite that much. 2.5 maybe, yeah.
And we're going to talk about the restrictions there that were lifted and changed, and that fishery. Now, on the day that was launched, all those new restrictions, we actually stocked some bass that day.
Did.
You helped, Adam, you helped, I helped, Kevin, our producer, helped. We all put some fish in. Have a look at the bass that are coming out of Blue Rock now. Peter Newgreen was down there during the week.
Beautiful
and
fish.
Nice.
They are good bass
They're beautiful.
in any part of Australia.
They were tiny when we put them in, I think.
right.
Absolutely, tiny little fingerlings. They are cracking fish. So well done, Peter. I know Peter sent us a little video of actually releasing those fish to swim another day. It's a great little video, but we just didn't have the time. Let's head to some more freshwater fisheries now, and Cobram, Trelly, up on the Murray River.
Nice part of the world.
There you go. Well, Daniel Russo thinks it's a nice place. That is an absolutely beautiful Murray cod from up that neck of the woods.
Yeah, he's a bit long, that one. They're usually a bit stumpy and a bit tubby like me, but that one's a bit longer.
A bit like myself.
Trelly, tell me, that in that picture, when you have a look at that picture there, it looks like a bit of current there, and obviously the Murray River flows.
Yeah.
But does a stronger current mean a skinnier fish? Does still water like Lake Eildon mean a fatter fish?
Yeah, normally, yeah. You'll see those ones that come out of Eildon, they're sort of like shorter and larger through the girth. Yeah. Whereas that one is quite a long fish. So Cobram, it's pretty fast below Cobram. It's actually running at about 9.1 meg at the moment, so camping, I'm told, is quite good up there. You won't get flooded at the moment, and the choke down at Barn will take 10 meg before it sort of floods out. So good camping up there. But
I wasn't really after all that technical information, Charlie. What I was my next question. My next question was, when you go for your morning swim, do you go in the Goulburn River or a dam? Because, like I said, fast flowing is skinny, and it looks like you've been
I've been in the dams a lot, haven't I? That's it, that's me.
No, good info, Charlie. Let's keep with the freshwater scene, and Lake Eildon is absolutely on fire. Nat Sutphin got a beautiful 8-pound, 12-ounce trout. That is a cracking fish, isn't it?
That's huge.
That's a nice fish, yeah.
Plenty of them in Lake Eildon. You just got to do the time.
You do,
And with these cool nights, bit of cool air.
Yeah, big river arm they're catching a lot around that mouth of the big river arm. It's a good spot.
Isn't it funny when you get a monster trout, it changes from kilos to pounds?
That's right,
We go back to 1966, I think.
The English, the trout.
And lucky last, down at Lakes Entrance, probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people are heading to Lakes Entrance for the Easter holidays, and the dusky flathead in the Gippsland Lakes are absolutely on fire at the moment, as are the prawns. Liz Water's got a beautiful triplet of Lakes Entrance dusky flathead. Very nice fish. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
And next on Talking Fishing, Fisheries News, and we discuss a net-free Corio Bay right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing. Every day's a chance to drift away.
Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Alrighty, bit of news before we talk with the Minister for Water, also for Police, Lisa Neville, the MP, who's joined us in the studio tonight. But I just want to get through a couple of quick stories, then we're going to talk Corio Bay. The first one up, and I know we've mentioned this the last couple of weeks, but it is pretty important to the Victorian Fisheries Authority. There is a recreational fishing survey out at the moment. Recreational anglers, spearfishers and divers are being encouraged to complete an online survey to make fishing even better in Victoria. The survey will gather information about how often people fish, what species they target, their favourite fishing waters, and their opinions on a range of matters, including some size and bag limits. Everyone who completes the survey will go into the draw for one of 30 spinning reels valued at $239 each. So some great prizes for 30 of you if you go and fill out the survey. It's all online. People who purchased a Victorian fishing licence online in the last 5 years will be emailed a personal invitation to the survey. If an email isn't received or you're exempt from needing a licence, access to the survey is at fishsurvey.com.au, and you have until the 23rd of April to complete that survey.
Good chance to have your say.
Absolutely. And just goes into helping manage the fishery a whole lot better. If not, like they will find some new ideas out of that, I'm sure. So one that we did mention a little bit on the last couple of shows, but not officially, is there's a website, and I know we normally don't plug this sort of stuff, boys, but there's a website for weather. Yeah. And there's a lot of websites for weather. But
not all correct.
Yeah, no, that's right. Now, Fish Ranger is one that is there's a lot of work's gone into it, 4 years of work to get this right. And they're struggling a little bit, there's no doubt about that. I think we've got a bit of a slide, but what they're doing. But there's a Kickstarter campaign. So if you want to get to kickstarter.fishranger.com.au, and if you've never used Fish Ranger, just give it a little go. It's only got 5 days to go, I think. But they've done a Kickstarter. Now, a Kickstarter is where you can pledge to help fund it, whether it's $10, $100, $500, whatever. They've actually they're already at $19,050, and the target is $29,800, so roughly about $10,000 to go. But it's an all or nothing campaign. So if they actually don't raise the $29,800, then you don't have to put your money in. If they get to the target, then you've got to put in what you promise. And it is a great site for anyone that uses it. I know we've had a lot of social media over it, a lot of people saying, can you help on the show with Fish Ranger, and I'm a believer in it.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be on the show. We're under no
No,
obligation
if
to do
it wasn't
The fact that we do
110%,
use it,
so,
it's a great thing to support. It's one of those websites.
And the interesting thing is, everyone will say, "Oh, where's the money going?" I've just got a note from Joe here today. All of the money will pay external costs. Not 1 cent is going to Joe, who runs it. The Bureau of Meteorology data alone costs $13,500 per annum. It is expensive to run the site. So there you go, Fish Ranger. It's a good one. A very quick news item that came through today from Fisheries Victoria, Victorian Fisheries Authority via DELP, is that thank you for your time to discuss our plan in relation to pumping water to deal with the current peat fire that is at Lake Elingamite. Is that right?
Elingamite.
Lake I guess that's out in the western where the bushfires were.
Near Cobden.
Yeah.
Yep. The plan we're developing is to pump water from that lake, because it's too long a name to say, to suppress the fire, which in turn will return the water back into the main water body. It is likely that the suppression efforts will see ash and silt enter back into the lake. Peat fires are notoriously deep. As a consequence, if the proposed plan does go ahead, the operation will last for 1 to 2 weeks. So obviously they're going to pump water up there, soak it. What is peat?
I worked with a peat once. I hope it's not him.
Charlie, do you know what peat is?
Well, I think it's like a form of vegetation that's under the ground, been under the ground for years and years.
Deep rooted or something.
Yeah, so like that type of thing. I think I'm on the right track there, right?
I think so, but it does produce carbon monoxide. So,
so it needs to be put out.
You do need to get rid of it, and it can take a long time to do that. So that's why this is happening. So because we've had to, for example, evacuate a nursing home just voluntarily, just to make sure people are kept safe down there.
So please, if you fish, and I'm not sure whether people do fish, Lake Elingamite. Probably would be some fish in there because it's.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Please, if there's fish kills, if there's dirty water for the next whatever amount of time, please. This is about health risks to townships, to putting out a fire that could burn for many, many weeks. This is the right thing to do, and fish can always be restocked when the water quality comes good. So that's just a bit of news out of today. Thanks to Anthony Forster for sending that in. All right, let's touch on probably the biggest news for fishermen in Geelong in hundreds of years. This Sunday, the 1st of April, netting is banned in Corio Bay. Now, when we say that, I think we've got a little map that we can show up here.
So Point Wilson is the start, and then it comes round to, for those who know, Bellarine Peninsula, Hermsley Road. Which is near Curlewis. So getting towards Clifton Springs. So that's the zone.
There you go. So that's a fisherman, like I said in the intro, Geoff Wilson will be selling a celebrator. He'll probably be singing the Geelong theme song. But now that's the line there, if you want to look at it on your GPS, 144 degrees, 30 minutes east. Is that...
There will be signage up about that.
I've got a question. This is a technical question. Is that longitude or latitude? Who did geography at school? Any of you three?
I'm going with Hermsley. 1 kilometre west of
Hermsley. No. Minister for Water. Is it longitude or latitude? Does anyone know?
I'd say longitude, so it's up and down, rather than latitude being, you know.
As I said, Hermsley Road.
Really? Stick the minister knows best. There you go.
And look, I spent many meetings with Geoff Wilson over the years, and others really pushing for this, and obviously the broader ban around Port Phillip Bay, and this is sort of the first, well, not really the first achievement, because we've already got bought out around, I think it's now 34 of the 43 licences out of Port Phillip Bay have come out, but this is sort of, the first major celebration, I think, about the achievement towards that, the complete ban of netting.
The facts are there's still 9 netters working, and today they would be able to
well, they're not all netters, actually. Some of them are long liners.
So, but they're still in the system, and eventually they will turn into 8 long liners. I think one more will go. But the important thing is that this is where it all started in your electorate, that the people of Geelong had enough of it. And I've always argued this. It wasn't about was there enough fish for commercial and recreational. This was about the method, the taking of fish that absolutely wiped out an area for a temporary time. You know, it might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks before any fish, and yet anglers, you know, they're growing. They, you know, it's a family pastime, and all that, and the netting was no good.
Yeah, it was about the practice they were using too. Like it was tearing up some of the habitat which fish actually you know, stay in, that type of thing. And I remember my short history as far as Geelong and the fishing down there. They were always fishing, getting, you know, weed on their lines and things like that. They're just not getting it as much now.
And you know, we'd get calls regularly every morning in my office, sort of saying there are a lot of dead fish along the, you know, the Clifton Springs foreshore along Port Arlington, and you know, really and St Leonard. So, and you know, one of the we have a regular fishing trip with young people with a disability that the Indented Head Boat Club run. And, you know, just even the change in Port Phillip Bay has meant they're catching fish. And you should watch these kids when they've brought back a fish. It's amazing. So really you can see the joy and what it gives back to the community.
Excellent. Lisa, the other thing is, this is it was a pretty emotional issue. And, you know, when the government, and you were in opposition at the time, you know, you needed to make a well-informed decision on this, because you would have had equally a lot of phone calls from commercial fishermen, because there is, you know, there was quite a lot of families down in the Geelong area that were commercial fishermen. You needed to make that informed decision, and eventually you decided to take the nets out. Now, I think one of the things that, you know, I thank you for your efforts, because you were, you know, one of the main instigators of government coming to this, but you're also very compassionate in the payouts that were given to commercial netters.
Yeah, and look, you know, you're right to say there are a lot of businesses in my electorate. So I've got a lot of recreational fishing people, but a lot of the commercial fishers were also in my electorate. You know, I tried to meet with them and understand their circumstances as well, and make sure that we fed that back into government so that people got a fair payout. That was their livelihood, often for generations as well. So hopefully we've been able to achieve the right balance here. I think I said to you earlier, David, you know, I was talking to the Chief Commissioner today of Police, who bringing fishing, water and police together in this conversation. And he likes to go fishing for squid.
Oh, there you go.
And he notices the difference already in Port Phillip Bay. And you know, imagine Corio Bay without any netting from Sunday. It'll be amazing.
It'll be superb. To celebrate the Corio Bay, I haven't even got a slide here, but there is a celebratory day. Here's all the details here. April 15th, 2018, at the Leopold Angling Club and Aquatic Club, 711 to 729 Port Arlington, whatever that is, Leopold
Arlington Road,
I think it's meant to say. 10 till 3, free event. It's a celebration day of a net-free Corio Bay. There's barbecues, bands, there's all sorts going on that day.
And if you aren't sick of me, I'll be there as well for some of that day. Yes, for
big day.
Helping out that Leopold Angling group at the moment.
Yeah, there you go. Up next, product of the week, and we have some great news for Blue Rock Lake right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now, we have covered spotter sunglasses on this show religiously for the last few years, as they are huge supporters of us, and likewise us of them. They're a brilliant little company in Kilsyth that are making an unbelievable product. Now, what we wanted to cover today was maybe some of the, I guess, the purpose of these lenses. There's so many to choose from, there's heaps of different variations, and they all serve a specific purpose. So we're actually going to cover the light blockage of each lens so that to help you choose the right pair of glasses for your fishing application. So the first ones, and probably one of the most popular, is a grey glass lens. You've got a standard grey glass, which is known as stone, and we've also got blue mirror, which is the same base lens with a mirrored finish. these are the darkest lenses in the range, and they give you the most light blockage on each one. So just bear in mind, this has got nothing to do with UV protection. Okay, these all have the highest possible quality in UV protection, being a premium pair of sunglasses, but this is what gives you, I guess, the perception of whether it's dark or light. So these two glasses, now Dave, I know you wear Blue Mirror quite a lot.
I love Blue Mirror.
They are actually giving you the highest possible rating of light blockage, so perfect for offshore conditions and bay conditions, which you fish quite a lot, where crystal clear water, bright blue sky, no cover. They're the pair you want because they give you that darkest possible tint. So they don't have a colour enhancing feature. We'll get to that on the next one. But for those in the blue water or fishing the bays religiously, they're the pair of glasses you want to choose. So they best suit your application there. Next, we've got the platinum and also the gold leaf lenses. Now these both have the same, I guess, light blockage at 91.5%, but they're built on an amber lens, which gives you a color enhancing feature. So though they're brilliant out in the blue water, they're actually quite effective when you're drying. And they're also quite effective in the estuaries where you need to brighten up that colour a little bit if you've got a little bit of shade cover from trees or plants or anything like that. So still giving you a very, very high percentage of light blockage, but it also got that colour enhancing feature. So I quite like that. That's a gold pair. I kind of like that platinum pair, which I've been wearing in the kayak quite a bit, when there's a little bit of cover but not too much.
So the mirror, we've seen three lots of mirrors so far, which is the ice, the gold leaf, and the platinum, silver, blue, and gold. They're cosmetic, the colours.
Yes.
But they give you that extra light block out.
Yeah, well, and see, I didn't realise this until recently. We've spoken about, I guess, that mirrored finish before. It's actually got a cooling agent in it, which helps, I guess it helps not get that fogging. But they actually do make them darker in appearance when you're looking through them, and I didn't realise that.
Actually, don't recognise Trelly. That's Trelly. I don't recognise you.
Probably a good thing.
So the third one, before we get to some of the photochromic transition lenses, is the Nexus lens, which is fairly, I guess, the newest to their range. So it's on an emerald back. Very different pair of glasses to look at. This is what I'm wearing at the moment, and I love them, because I think they're a little bit lighter than a standard grey lens. They still give you a very high light blockage percentage. I find these absolutely brilliant in the estuaries where we've got a little bit more shade, a little bit more cover. I think they just brighten up a little bit more, colour enhancing features, a very nice pair of sunnies.
They really brighten things up, don't they?
Yeah,
like
they
you
do.
just,
Yet it's still, they're still percentage-wise quite a dark lens.
They are.
You got the blue ones there. I love the blue.
Yeah,
and of course, we're talking about lenses tonight. There's a whole lot of different frames as well.
So all these
wear
frames.
them in your Porsche, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Music up.
These ones now, the last two I've got here get quite complicated because they're actually a transition lens. They call them a photochromic lens. Now, basically, you get a percentage of light taken unactivated or activated. That basically means in the darkest possible conditions when you put these glasses on, it lets a lot of light in, so that you're basically covered for that. If cloud cover rolls past, sun burns up the clouds and it gets bright very quickly, these will actually transition to give you a higher rate of percentage blocked out of that sun. So if you're not quite sure, halide backer, these go quite dark. These actually go as dark in their transition as what, Dave, the ones you're wearing now, the blue mirror, they actually go as dark as that. So 91.5%. So they're very popular. And finally, penetrated is the lightest pair, again an amber backing. But these, even at the darkest point, aren't quite as dark as what some of the mirrored lenses we've looked at earlier. So really, really good for freshwater anglers. Very, very good for estuary anglers that are fishing quite dense and quite dark cover. So a lot of vegetation, casting a lot of shadows. Even at the darkest point, they're still quite light. So these are a very specific lens.
Put some on. Now, Lisa, do you want to put some on? Pair on as well. Trelly, pick your favourite there. I actually said to Adam today, I said, who was it that started the trend of, pretty, I mean, these are snazzy, we're all got pretty snazzy. Was it Chips? And Adam just looked at me. Look, we've actually got to explain everything that's pre-1980.
I'm with you. I'm about the same age.
Do you know what chips is?
That's right. Yeah, that's the motorbike cops.
The motorbike cops. Yeah, you look as if you're out of chips.
No,
police minister with the cool glasses.
Yeah. Got a few chips on the road.
But then when he had no idea what chips was,
and even after the explanation, it still doesn't ring any bells.
The other thing was it Jerry at a Skippy? Was Jerry the helicopter pilot?
Oh,
yeah, but they had the aviators.
He had the aviators, but I reckon they were
Spotters didn't make it there.
No, definitely Mirror.
Now I reckon you're Jerry.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You're Sonny.
Jerry Wills.
What was the girl out of Skippy? I got no idea. What's her name?
Whatever she's on.
Oh, hang on, yeah. What's Skip? You don't know her name either. There you go.
My fondest memories of Skippy are when they used to cover it on Full Frontal. Remember that show?
Oh,
take
the whiz out of me.
I was old by that time. The original Skippy was so much better. Waratah National Park, I think.
That's right, yeah.
So there's spotters lenses.
Memories.
Memories. I know, great memories.
Spotters, get them on your head.
All right, some serious news now. Blue Rock Lake, you may have recalled several years ago we went down to Blue Rock and the Minister for Water announced that there was to be a trial on some changed boating restrictions. You've got some news for us tonight that it's all good.
It's all very good. So just really quickly, when I became minister, I realised that there was these rules around the size of the boat you could have on Blue Rock Lake and these engine capacity, which limited the number of people. And they
were put in place around the time that Skippy was going first.
Yeah, probably. and obviously boats changed a lot in that time. And so we trialled a 15-knot speed limit.
Actually,
and not
I think we've
worried
got a table of all the rules up here.
Yeah,
so.
And we've approved continuing with what was a trial and is now permanent. So people can basically, it's a speed limit is the issue, is the main thing.
Is the big thing.
Yeah.
And so there used to be a 4.3 metre boat.
That's right. None of that.
There's no limit. The maximum output used to be 10 horsepower. No limit on that.
Yeah.
Maximum speed used to be 5 knots. It's now 15.
Except some specific areas, but basically,
And there's still some no-go zones as well.
There is, and that's just safety where we've got people swimming. So
but that is permanent.
It's permanent, and just the changes saw amazing numbers of people going down the lake, spending money in the local area.
Can I just say that, for those that don't realise how big of a deal this is, I still think Blue Rock's set up to be one of the premier bass fishing destinations in the country. Now, there's quite a big Australia-wide competition, which includes barra, bass and bream. It wouldn't surprise me in the future as these bass continue to grow, because they are so healthy, that there is actually a Blue Rock round bringing people from all over the country to see how good this fishery is, and it's well on track
and you've
to do
got that's right, you've got the numbers going.
Not only is it good for that, but we've got a very quick video just to have a look at what it does for the local community. Have a look at this.
The Blue Rock Lake, it's had a wonderful impact changing the boating regulations on the lake. We've had a huge increase in visitors.
Oh, it's just so much going on here. There's stacks of bass, there's always redfin to catch, there's trout, there's so much going on, and the fact that it's dedicated to fishermen is also real good. You don't have to compete with water skiers and all the rest of it.
I believe that the stocking of Blue Rock Lake has increased our business easily 60 to 80% through the summer, so it's fantastic.
So not only is it affecting our business, there's a flow-on effect to other businesses as well.
So there you go. We might just think that changing a few little rules is simple, something that was invented when Skippy was on air. It's move with the times. It actually has some real benefits for the whole of the community, not just the community, not just the fishermen. It's a pretty powerful
and
message.
It's been really safe, and people have been able to swim safely there as well. So it's great.
A great trial now permanent. Up next, Kramer's Mailbag, and we have an announcement about a reopening of a fishery that was closed down 5 years ago. Right after this, I'm talking.
Talking fishing.
From apparel to footwear, the Performance Fishing Gear collection is built for fishing of all kinds. Whether you wade in sun-scorched saltwater flats, hike into mountain rivers, or fish anywhere in between, we want to keep you out there and keep you protected. As well as pants, shorts, and vented shirts, the collection includes arm sleeves, neck gaiters, hats, and shoes with drainable midsoles. The apparel and footwear in this line are built around fishing, but can be used in any setting, handling the toughest environments.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Minister's actually laughing that that is my post office box, and yes, it smells of salmon.
It's a salmon hotspot, that PO box.
That's right. The things that people send us on mailbag, Lisa, I tell you.
That's right.
All right, let's kick it off. This is from Darren. I live in Geelong and I fish on the Bellarine Peninsula regularly. I'd like to see fisheries create more artificial reefs in Port Phillip Bay, specifically for fishing, and making it well known where they put them. This would be a great way to redirect fishermen away from areas like shipping channels. Snapper season in Corio Bay and the outer harbour, everyone fishes the channel because that's where the fish are. But if we draw the fish to other places, the boats, fishermen, etc. will follow, freeing up the channels. From Darren, your thoughts? Is there a lot of shipping movement in Geelong? I wouldn't know.
There is. Because
going to where?
Well, the shipping channel runs from really Queenscliff right through, and then both into Geelong, but also to Melbourne.
And what, cargo or cars or like what?
Everything. Yeah.
Big ships.
Yeah, big ships.
Okay.
Yeah, big ships. So obviously the big one's going to Melbourne, to the Port of Melbourne. So all
but you do have a fair shipping.
And that goes through parts of So when you're standing, St Leonard, you're seeing them go past, and similarly into Geelong.
Yeah. We have a couple of piles.
And I think they're a good idea. I think the artificial reefs are a great idea.
Well, that's going to the Jala pile. We
have
a Jala pile.
No. I'm speaking on behalf of Jala, where I say I think they're a great idea, Jala.
And that's one of the things we often say when we're fishing for kingfish in the Rip. There's sometimes there's 200 boats, and the Port of Melbourne comes along, blowing their horn, going, "Get out the way," all that sort of stuff. Which is, that's very cool. Maybe we need some reefs off the side. Have you ever tried the shipping app?
There is a shipping app.
That tells you what ship is coming.
And where they're from, what's on them, all that.
There's no way on the app though. The thing that's missing from that feature is, can you go around the kingfish? Can you just go a bit to the left?
There's something to think about. There's something to develop.
Imagine if you could divert ships via the shipping app. But the Minister for Police told me I could. I don't know. All right, I enjoy your show every week on Channel 31. This is from Alan. I seldom go fishing these days, but back when I was younger, in the 1940s, my father took me to the Yarra River fishing and I caught the most horrible thing ever. It was eel-like, about 15 inches long, but did not have a mouth like an eel, rather a round sucker ringed with spikes and several gill slits. We were mystified as to what it was, so we contacted Crosby Morrison. Crosby was a popular naturalist at the Sun News Pictorial and also on Radio 3DB that ended in 1932, who identified it as a lamprey. Anyone heard of lamprey?
Yeah,
heard of it. You have?
Yep.
Okay. We did not eat it. Over the years, no one else I mentioned it to has ever caught one or even heard of them. I've since seen items on TV about lampreys. River Monsters was one of them, and recently on Heston's Feast, lamprey was the main course but was not favoured well. Have any of you ever caught one in recent times? I've read that they used to be sold at the markets a year ago. From Alan. Well done, Alan. Interesting. Maybe on our social media, if anyone's caught a lamprey, get onto the Talking Fishing Facebook site or send us a pic, info@ifish.com.au. Love to know about that.
They are a very, very gnarly little creature, those things.
Really?
Yep. Very similar to how a cookie cutter shark feeds, Dave.
Yeah,
all those little, they are gnarly. I've never caught one, but
there you go.
Gnarly.
If you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Now, bit of news that is going to please a lot of people in this state's northeast. A fishery was closed down in 2013. It's called the Dartmouth Pondage. There used to be a female-only fishing competition in there, and unfortunately, back in the time, Peter Walsh thought it was a good idea to not put water in Lake Tolondo and to also close down Dartmouth Pondage. Where's that at today?
Well, this 1967, I think they first started fishing at Dartmouth Pondage, and for 5 years, no fishing at all. you know, there's been a few people in their trenches on this issue, but luckily we've been able to break through some of the bureaucracy and the, you know, this sort of myth around safety issues, and we've got every party at the table and all agreed that we're going to reopen the pondage on the 1st of May of this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So AGL, Murray-Darling Basin, Goulburn Murray Water, DELP and Victoria Fisheries Authority all agree we're going to reopen it, and I think fisheries are going to put in a bit of money for improved amenities. And what I discovered when I was looking into this issue is that the 10 years leading into 2013 there was about 90,000 trout, various forms of trout put into that pondage. So there'll be a lot of wild fish.
It was stocked for 10 years, 90,000 trout. And it got closed.
It got closed. And apparently, you know, I mean, this is the thing that I've loved about water is that you can do you can provide for irrigation and urban, but you can also actually provide for the community and the recreational benefits. And that's what it's a bit like Toowoomba. It's about, you know, cutting through those issues, being able to meet everyone's needs.
We've got a bit of a map of Dartmouth Pondage too, of where it's going to open and you're going to be able to fish from the shoreline. I know I used to get a lot of correspondence back when we were on 3AW, Adam, about the female-only fishing comp. It was Australia's biggest female-only fishing comp. Used to be on Dartmouth. I don't even know if they would know, and I don't know the organisers. I don't know. They may live up in Aubrey for all we know.
But I think we should get that going again because that'd be a great thing. Celebration.
That is absolutely brilliant news.
They're going to have a smoking ceremony.
A what?
They're going to have a smoking ceremony?
I think we might do a bit of a celebration on the 1st of May, and there'll be a bit more trout put in there as well.
I did hear a whisper that 20,000 trout
something like that.
Might be put in on the day. So.
Smoke a few trout.
So you'll get a bit of some of the wild trout, which are up there, and some of the.
Well, probably if it hasn't fished for 5 years, there's every chance there's 10, 12 pound trout.
That's
right.
I know. So it could be a big weekend up there.
All week, All right, let's go close to home down to your electorate, Lisa, and at Clifton Springs. You recently opened up a new fishing platform down there.
Yeah, so this was an election commitment. Again, some long-standing locals who wanted. It used to be a jetty down there, and then it, got old and deteriorated.
Just about fallen down. It says here.
Yeah, well, it was actually you couldn't walk on it. It was gone really. So 250,000 new. Yeah, look at that platform, that pier, and then out to the platform, 35 metres. It's been built in a way you can add to, and I think that's something we'll have a look at as well.
Yeah, I think you've already got people in the community saying, because everyone wants to get longer.
But they're catching some pretty good. The calamari and some snapper there, King George whiting as well out there. So
it'd be perfect for whiting.
So they've done, and some flathead as well. So so really good.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and stuff like that. I reckon we went through a period probably 3, 4, 5 years ago where you just thought no pier's ever going to get rebuilt. No. Let alone a safe harbour that we're going to look at some photos and that will blow you away very shortly.
That's right.
So
look, it's beautiful down there, north-facing bay, and bordering a beautiful boat harbour down there, which we've rebuilt over the years. So one of the most popular in the state. So go down there with your kids and enjoy it.
Beautiful. Coming up next, this week's Hotspots, and we take a look at the new safe harbour at Port Arlington next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Cranbourne.
Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start.
I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat.
Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
There you go, time for the all-important hotspots, and don't forget, we have, it's actually Easter this weekend.
That's right.
There is that much happening, but it is the Easter break this weekend, and always a great time for fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, weather's looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's get into the hotspots, and the first one, Lisa, just happens to be in your electorate.
It is.
But do you realise that you have the capital of King George Whiting right on your doorstep? St Leonard's would have to be the #1 place in Port Phillip Bay for whiting all year round.
Year round, that's the big one, year round.
And with the, you know, people talk about it now, how easy it is to catch it down there now. You know, it's great. Fantastic.
It's one of those species that best eating fish, and they can be finicky at times. To catch. Yeah, but if you ever can't catch a King George Whiting, you go to St Leonard's. That's where you go. That's why it's the hot spot.
It's a great place to go fishing as well.
Yeah. So. We're starting to see the bay cool down a little bit now. The water temperature is starting to drop, and that means the snapper, when it goes through that 18-degree mark, the snapper come on just as good as they do in spring, but no one fishes for them. So let's have a look at the hot spot. Carrum it is, 18 metres off Carrum. There will be some good snapper taken in the next month.
This is actually a real thing. It's not just tackle shop talk. It's actually a real thing.
We never make up a hot spot. It is the real deal.
It's like almost the second season of snapper.
Got to keep going the yelling in area.
If there's any spare snapper, I'll have it.
Let's head over to Western Port, the middle spit. Again, that would be the capital of King George Whiting and Western Port, just as good as St Leonard's. The top end.
I doubt it's as good as
not over winter.
The only thing is
wrong electorate.
The only thing is Braxy took out the nets about 10 years ago, and I tell you, Western Port's a pretty damn good place, so don't worry about that. Elizabeth Island, down the southern end of French Island, is another great place for the elephant fish. If you want to get the kids out over Easter, something different, go and have a look for the elephant fish. Let's look at some statewide hotspots as well now. Lake Eildon, Trelly. It's a full moon on Saturday.
Correct.
What does that mean for, you know, that fishing right on dusk and probably into night? For the Murray cod up there.
It's one of the best. This time of year is actually a premier time to fish up there. Lake Eildon especially. You'll find that you'll get some of those as the moon comes over the hill. You'll find that the fish will actually turn on. So just watch that. Just wish you're fishing up there, surface lures and that type of thing. Just get it. It's like Barramundi do on some of the dams up north. Get that moon breaking over the hill and fish your just your edges.
So
I think
like sunset around this time of year is probably that 7:45, somewhere around there now. Moonrise, I think, on Saturday is around about 8 o'clock, just after. So it's it's always the full moon's a very early riser.
That's right.
And it will be, if we've got clear skies, this Saturday night could be an absolute cracking night for fishing for many species, but Murray cod at Lake Eildon. The other place that will be very, very popular for people going over Easter is Port Welshpool, the big gummies. They're on down there, big gummy sharks, and obviously if they're big females, you want to let them go and put them back in. But it's a great time of year for full moon big gummies.
Yeah, that's right. And it has been fishing very well too.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving along. Something that was brought to my attention during the week is that there is a new safe harbour that has been built at Port Arlington, and you look at some of the places around the bay, for instance, St Kilda Marina, it's got very big rock walls. I know Martha Cove was a private development that absolutely cost millions and millions to make, and you just go, they probably won't do any more of those. It's the thing of the 50s or the 60s, and something like that costs a lot of money. Have a look. We've got a bit of a photo here. This is we've got a couple of photos. We'll show this one first. This is Port Arlington, the new safe harbour. Now, Lisa, tell us about this.
So this is something that the locals have pushed for a long time, and as we were talking about before, it's also a centre for aquaculture in the state. We had a pier that was falling down. We did have a bit of a rock wall there, but it was not in great condition, and we've rebuilt this harbour, and it's more berths, greater number of extra places for fishing. It's booming really down there. It's beautiful, and we're fully funded by the government. It was an election commitment, and the ferry goes down there too.
So this is the new ferry that comes up into Melbourne.
Docklands to Port Arlington, and
then that runs down into Geelong, does it? Or
no, not at the moment.
Only goes to Port Arlington.
Just at the moment, just to Port Arlington,
wow.
And it's. They've just put on a new boat ferry, and it's fantastic. People, great way to get Melbourne to
We've got an aerial photo of the safe harbour, I think, up next. That just gives you a bit of a look at. I just thought something like that modern day wouldn't be built anymore. You know, I mean, I can tell you the Frankston Harbour's been spoken about for 30 years, and it's just gone nowhere. But this has actually gone somewhere. Now, there's still a little bit of construction on the left-hand side of screen there, so it was. But you can see that the big breakwall that's come out looking towards us, the other curved one.
All for fishing on it.
Brilliant. And the previous photo, you could see people walking out there going for this. Some great fishing. But the other thing is, our bay can be a dangerous bay at times. And there is not nearly enough safe harbours when that wind turns, and it can turn very, very quickly. That is 100% safe in any wind direction, isn't it?
It is. And you can, and Port Arlington, I've been out there at Port Arlington where I've held mussels, you know, plate of mussels, and the wind is so bad that it's blown the mussels off the plate.
Really,
so you get really strong winds in over the pier.
Another quick photo just shows some of the zones there. So you've got commercial berthing, you've got recreational berthing, you've got the ferry berth, the green spot there, people can come around and hide out of the wind and anchor and have lunch and things like that. So just an absolutely great all-purpose harbour.
And it's so close to Melbourne when you're coming on your own.
I was just blown away by that. And that ferry, obviously, that's going to be pretty good tourism for the seafood industry for the whole of Port Arlington.
That's right, Port Arlington, or for the whole Bellarine. It's actually working.
So how's the fridge looking?
Well, I think I need another box to tick that.
I don't know how good we're at getting that slide of the fridge anymore.
But they're all green ticks.
That's right.
Well done. So, the serious part of the show, can I say on behalf of anglers from particularly Corio Bay, but from the whole of Port Phillip Bay, a thank you to you, because some of these things haven't been easy. From day one to Londo, water in there was not easy. To the nets out of Corio Bay, people said that could never be done. To building a safe harbour like we haven't seen in Port Phillip Bay for a long, long time. Sincerely, thank you for the effort.
Thanks, David.
Because I don't think people like yourself get a good enough thank you in times like this, where we've actually seen some great projects delivered that will stay forever. The Corio Bay nets that come out next Sunday, that changes that place forever.
And I think the thing I've learnt is, you know, there's no such thing as never or no or it's too hard. I think you can make these things happen. And, you know, it's been working with communities to make them happen, which has made it so good.
There you go. A big thank you to the Minister for Water, Lisa Neville. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. A big Easter weekend coming up. A temperature of 23 degrees forecast for all 4 days of Easter. How's that? And some great fishing conditions as well. An early warning. Turn your clocks back 1 hour on Sunday morning. The world is coming to an end, or at least daylight saving is anyway. Enjoy your sleep in, enjoy your Easter eggs. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.